Single mother with 2 kids that the father neglected. Baby boy facing time and a daughter is pregnant. A God-fearing woman, she won't bother to kill it. On her knees every night asking God for forgiveness. Oldest son a hustler chasing dreams with a yay. And Section 8 tripping cause he 18 today. Security posted up to make sure it's crystal clear. Either Junior hit the road or they all disappear. Big Mama had a stroke after Pawpaw passed. This isn't fair. So how did life change? All within a year. Dear God, it's your son again. Thinking about that gun again. Conscious toying with me about my past. What I done again. Drink to a stupor, pop a pill, smoke a blunt or 10. I can't get away cause I can't seem to run within. My feet's in quicksand. You speak of rich land, a meek and gift land. My peeps in this land, and I know only the things of God last. So step into the light for 3Ps in the podcast. All right, y'all. Before we get started, I want to send a special shout out, a special shout out to the homie Reek Raw. Thanks for the gift, Playboy. You got me looking fly. I got this here under the Michael chorus, and it it fits perfectly. So shout out to Philadelphia. Shout out to Reek Raw and that whole movement. And we messing with you down south, brother. Salute.
Stop the killing on the children. The streets ain't getting safer as the war is getting closer. My babies are in danger. Seeing a father on the corner, thinking of ways to make it better. In my mailbox, there's a brick in a letter. Somebody plug, I see you later. Yeah. See you later. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Hey guys, we're going to jump right into it, into our podcast topics for this week. Kind of have a lot to talk about. Our first topic is going to be about the Young Boy concert. So, he apparently had two tours that were canceled, and he has a sold out tour. He had a sold out tour in New Orleans, and they had to ramp up security. So a lot of concert goers were saying that it was unnecessary. Some were too like in agreement with it, and were like, "Oh yeah, that's good. You know, makes us feel more safe, more secure." What do you guys think?
I think homie, and don't kill me when I say this, audience, but homie is like the modern day Michael Jackson. I never saw, speaking of his cancel concert outside of Atlanta, when you got 18 and 19,000 people outside of a canceled concert chanting your name. That's like a cult like following. So for them youngsters in today's music, I say he different. And given that I'm from New Orleans and young boy from Baton Rouge, um, I think the security is needed, not necessarily in Louisiana the way it was, but in the shows like the Chicago's, the Atlanta's, the place where all the gangster disciples and the people that he got into it with King Von and LaDurk and all them, like all that stuff needed for the safety of them youngsters. But that's my opinion.
Hmm.
So let me ask you this question. Okay, so I do understand that he had concerts that was canceled in Chicago and Atlanta, right?
Hmm.
So what was the reason? Was it game related or
Yeah, they didn't come out and say gang
They
related, but
don't.
they
Yeah.
said what they said was they didn't want the violence, that it was gonna be chaos because
Mhm.
they feared retaliation of like shootouts. Cause I don't know if you remember before he got out of jail, when because he ain't touring a long time. That's why I say you gotta have a cult like following. Cause he been getting in trouble for the last 3, 4 years. But before
Right?
that, remember everywhere they went, it was like chaos. It was always a fight or a shootout or something.
Right, I got you. I got you. Right, right, right. So, okay, gotcha. So my next question. So, in New Orleans, was it like the same situation? Like I seen a little clip, but I didn't really look into it because I thought it was the
No,
same as
because New Orleans not really, we ain't really heavy on the game, contrary to popular beliefs. Like we got
mhm.
ward banging. So you may say you from uptown, third ward, 10 ward, 17, whatever. Somebody else may say I'm from across the river, 15 ward. They ain't heavy on Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciples, Vice Lord. So it
Okay,
ain't that. It's just his music, is why I said he got a cult like following.
Yeah,
I
and
got you.
I think that's the norm for this like modern day celebrities and artists that do come out. It almost all of them, because you have your influencers. They
Hmm.
all tend to create that cult audience
Right.
and followers and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have no much comments on that one because I don't know. Like my point of view, how I was looking at it was, I see like, okay, dude, you was promoting this type of music, so of course you're gonna get this type of crowd. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's how I look at it. So I'm like,
the
okay,
drill music, but I don't think young boy is considered drill, even though the youngsters may say something different. But you're gonna say the drill music brings a drill type audience, so that come with the chaos and the drama.
exactly. Yes, that's where I was going. That's why I asked about New Orleans. I'm like, okay, well, I know about the Chicago situation because he got beef there. You know, you making this music and you got beef with people, and then you go into other cities. But I don't know in the other cities if they're doing the same thing, trying to get retaliation. Because you know how most people they don't think that they just do things based off music and they think they can just do violence and shit like that. That's why I was asking those questions.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So in other words, it's a good thing they ramped up the security.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah. Because he
Moving
don't need
on
it.
to rapper YBZ. This is another rapper who was apparently on tour and, had his fiance at home. He did say that he had forgot his keys. And so he was having to knock on his door, meaning their home, where they both live together. And come to find out, his fiance was cheating on him. Mind you, he's there, he's paying all the bills, paying all the expenses and things like that in this home. And she also had the guy that she was cheating with in their home. So there was a video where she was not trying to let him in the house. Mind you, it's his house. So what do you guys think about that?
Low down dirty woman, back to where you come from. That's what I think about that.
Yeah, I think it's fortunate. I think in instances like this, or situations like this, I mean, I don't know how he was like personality wise, how he treated her or whatnot, because I'm not gonna just say he's a good man because he's paying all the bills. But
But he
um,
is, but go ahead.
paying all the bills doesn't necessarily make you a good man. There, like, more comes with that. You can't just be like, oh, you can pay all the bills and beat the hell out your woman, or
If I'm
you pay
paying the
all the
bills
bills.
and I'm on tour, I'm a good man. I leave you in the house alone. In
No.
the story. Go
Here
ahead.
Let's
we
be let's be for real. Let's be for real. We all know what
here we go
happens on
again.
tour. We all know what happens on tour. I'm sure A-list celebrities. I know, some celebrities. I know exactly what goes on tour. So it's just like, no, that's not going to cut it. But anyways, he had her in a house, was paying all those expenses or whatnot. But I do, just giving him the benefit of the doubt, if he was a good man, I feel like situations like this ruin good men. And it's like, so the next person he dates, he may not put that girl in the house. He may not pay those bills. Now he may be looking for um like a more secure like foundation from that female before he jumps into something else like this again. I've met a few guys like that who would be like, oh, I used to this and this and that and that, and it's just like, well, damn. I always had to get this shit into the stick. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know like that either. I don't judge either. But, those situations do happen a lot, with the normal citizens. But like you said, it do makes it hard for a guy to trust a woman. And then also, women be like, oh, I don't want a man who can't spend money on me or take care of me. But, this type of situation, that makes it hard for me to do that because, hey, I do all this and then what is that for me? You gonna cheat or what? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then in her mind, like we don't know what type of relationship they have. Obviously, by what homie
Right.
said, he loved her. So if he loved her
Mhm.
and he say we holding it down, contrary to popular beliefs, everybody don't cheat. So maybe that man doing good on the road. Maybe he
Nobody
just
said
sending money
everybody
home.
cheats.
No, I
That
know. That's why I say contrary to popular beliefs. I'm talking to the audience. So even though he on tour, he may be faithful, is what I'm saying. And then he come home And then in her mind, she may be thinking he's wilding out on tour. That okay, he got a bad chick in every city. So when he leave, I'ma do me. Like that may be her mindset, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then again, never know because we don't know their business, you know. But yeah.
Right.
Sounds
That's
about
right.
right.
You be treated like Ronald Isley. What I saw was enough to drive a preaching wild.
All right, moving on to our next topic, jumping into those politics like we do best. Trump is cutting off the food stamps. There's a lot of, like I said last week, I think it was on my feed that you had to go through certain qualifications to be approved. And now he's shutting that shit down. I think they said as of next Friday, yeah, no more. So you have everyone, or I guess today I saw a video of this woman saying that this guy went in grocery shopping and basically took off with like $600 worth of groceries. So what do you guys think about that? Do y'all think it's gonna bring more chaos
Of
to
course.
our environment, to our stores? What's
So
your
I
input?
always say that the reason, and I'm not making excuses for nobody, that the reason for poverty, the reason for crime is poverty, and the
Mhm.
reason for poverty is lack of education. So I'm saying that to say if people don't have and you're not getting the food stamps, then yeah, it's gonna be like anarchy. So they're gonna steal, rob, they're gonna do whatever they feel they have to do because they feel they can't get a job. Now that's not right in no form or fashion, but that's what's gonna happen. More stealing out the stores.
You don't think this is like purposely planned? Because I mean, let's be for real. Like, what are the nationalities in this health program or this food program? You know what I mean? Like, what are the races that are typically in this program? Like, I feel like it's done purposely to create a madhouse amongst our culture, and it's just like we have a few little white tees in there, but ain't too many of them on it. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I think it's purposely made to create chaos, destruction. Um, just speaking to our people, our brown people, don't fall into it. There's different avenues. There's food pantries. There's churches that give out food. I think, or they used to back then. I don't know, but I mean, just look for other avenues to find help and things. I know we are definitely going through like trying times, Thanksgiving's next month and things like that. um just stay out of the trouble, don't fall into it, don't don't be part of the problem. Hopefully it's temporary and things pick back up the way that America should be picking back up, but just be smart about it, guys.
Yeah, I didn't see no article about that about the food stamps.
It's everywhere.
Uh, I mean, not about it being cut off completely. I didn't
Yep.
see it on the news. No, I didn't see it on the news.
Yeah, I've
Now I
been
Yep.
did
seeing
see,
it too. I've been seeing it everywhere, bro.
and okay, when is the effective date? Because I didn't see it. Now I
Next
did see
I
the,
just
Friday.
said next week.
yeah, you got to send me that source link though. I want that source link so I can look at it. I didn't
Bro.
see it. Yep,
All
send me the
right.
Oh,
source
okay.
link. Yeah, because I don't believe y'all because like come on now, you can't do that. But back to your but back to your statement.
Mhm.
So about your statement, you were saying how some of those, that they go to the food pantry and stuff like that. They can, but you have some people who are too embarrassed to get out there and do all that type of stuff. And also with the politician, yeah,
But
that
it's
shit
just
been
like
like
you
that.
can't say that they're too embarrassed because the same people who you probably say that are too embarrassed will go into a store and steal food and stuff like that. So if you're willing to do that, then you can definitely go to a food pantry and find help.
Yes, you're right. You're right. But you have some who won't do it as well, you know. But yeah, like you said, I feel like yeah, that's all this politician is about. You got those who only want to support the rich people, and you have those who want to help the working class.
Right.
That's all. It's a damn game. Hunger Games. But yeah.
Literally Hunger Games. Moving on to our next topic. So I'm not really too informed about it, but I've seen a few posts about it. I know CD Lambs was opposed to it. Dak Prescott is opposed to it, but they have these colorful rainbow gloves, and they're asking the football players to, I guess, wear them in support of the modern day beliefs. I guess I don't know. Anyways, say that to say this, Dak was saying that he rather not play for the NFL if this is a requirement that he has to do because it's against his beliefs. So what do you guys think?
So
I
first
agree
of
with
all,
him.
yeah, I agree with Dak, but
You
that's
can't
just
force it on
surface
them.
level. But I think that this rainbow stuff and all this other stuff is like a distraction because of the stuff like food stamps and all the real stuff that's going on. Now, I know we always clown, but I'm gonna get serious with y'all. So y'all know my segment here is to tell you the truth and to tell you the spiritual side. So because we all living in revelations and all the stuff to come, and I know people say they read it, but I don't know if they really did. Like all of this stuff is already talked about from the 7 year tribulation to all the hard times, to all the stuff in the street. So it's gonna get worse. But if the people not prepared, then they not gonna understand it. So I think when you see stuff like this, the rainbow stuff and all the NFL, because it's entertainment and I watch it too. So I ain't gonna be hypocritical because I love football. But it's
Yeah.
it's all a distraction to get your mind off of the real stuff that's happening in the world. Is my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be nice for them to stop pushing the narrative, especially when it comes to like our TVs and our sports and obviously what has the most, I guess, like viewings and stuff like that, which is football. Sunday night football, who does not watch that, you know?
Mm.
But yeah, I think they should definitely have an option to not wear them.
Yep. You can't force none of that shit on nobody, especially don't want to wear it. Come on now. That's going against their religion.
Right. And the
Yeah.
other one is to push the agenda. Like
Yeah,
the
definitely
same they
pushes
was
the
doing with our
agenda.
kids, right? That's why they teach it in the schools. So if you teaching a child this stuff since young, they gonna be immune to it by the time they get to high school and in college. Like it's gonna be the norm. So like not a big deal, you know what I mean? So it
Hmm.
takes away from the stuff
Yeah.
that you taught inside the home.
Agree. Y'all hear the birds chirping?
Hmm.
All right. And then I have two not so serious topics, maybe serious. I don't know. I saw this and it said, it was more like a, I think it was more like a post. I'm assuming it's from a girl, but she was basically asking, or I guess to get opinions on give a reason why a man would let a good woman slip away.
You
Men.
want to go first, or you want me to go, bro?
You go first, bro. Go.
I'd answer, but I don't know.
No, I got you. So in my opinion, is if he tell her something, so say I tell you something in confident, or I'm being vulnerable with you because I want to build trust, I want to build a relationship. And then we get into an argument and you throw that in my face. So now I'm not gonna tell you nothing ever again. I can't trust you. So that gonna be one of the reasons he let her go. The other
Like no
reason
matter
maybe
how good she is, that's it.
right. Cause I
Yeah.
can't yeah, cause you throw stuff in my face. So I know if it come down to it, that's what's going to happen. And then the flip side of that, I'm not just gonna blame the woman. The flip side of that is like we got pride and ego. So you may be trying to change me, and I don't want to change. So you gonna be like, hey, do this, do that, and I could get anybody. Well, I could get anybody too. So like, miss me with it, kick rocks if that's what you want to do. So the flip side on the man side is pride and ego, and then with the woman involved is when she's throwing stuff in his face.
Mm,
Mm, I'm gonna say pride and ego. I agree with that because some men they rather lose a good woman than than just admit what they're wrong, right? So I agree with you on that one.
Hmm.
But you got also that, a lot of men don't recognize a woman value until it's too late. So they wait until she gone in order to recognize her value, right? And you also have those who have like what fear of commitment, not because she's not the one, but they just not ready. If that makes sense, due to the past situations. Like for an example, like the dude you was referring to, the rapper, what's his name?
YBZ.
Right, yeah, like that situation. And let's say he start dating again, whatever, right? But he already have a fear of commitment. But that can be a reason too, of letting go of another good woman, right? But for
Yeah.
me, it's mainly pride and ego and just taking her for granted.
I think so. I would say I would if I could guess, I would say either a good man would or a man would let a great woman slip away out of fear of commitment. Like no matter how good she is, I'm really big on like if you're not ready, then you're not ready. You're gonna miss out on what's good out there because you're just not ready for the commitment and everything that comes along with being in a relationship.
Yep, you're right. Because there are some men, who wasn't who's never inside a reply. Who I'm sorry, there are some men who never was like in a place to receive that type of love that she's trying to give. So yeah, you're right.
But it's
Hmm.
the flip side because women do it too all the time. So,
All the
it's,
time.
You're
yeah,
right. Yeah.
I think more
But I
than
think
men.
women are more honest about it. I think we're more honest about it. Um, Men, they like to play games. They like to sit here and say, "Oh, I want a relationship," or "I want to be in a committed relationship," but their actions are telling you otherwise. Me personally, I'm gonna be like, "Look, you're great. It's a me problem. I done been through this, and that. I'm not ready
Hmm.
for commitment. I'm not ready to be in love again because I know that when I do make that decision, I'm 1,000% in. There's no 50-50 in my relationships. Like I'm gonna give you my all, my time, my energy, everything. So like I don't just jump into a serious relationship quick. Like I give it some talking time. And if shit, I think, I give it months before I can say, all right, this is somebody I want to be in a relationship with. And that's why, like I've lasted years with my I've never had like a relationship that only lasted like a months or nothing like that. All of my relationships, I was either engaged or got married. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I've never had like a, 1 year relationship, 2 year relationship. They've been like years,
But I
because
don't
I
think
take my
men
time.
play games though. I think it's more
Yes,
so.
they do.
No, I'm about to explain to you. So what
Well,
women? No,
get it out.
listen. It's not.
Yes, they do.
Let me explain. What women say as play games is what bro just said. So if he was never taught, so let's say his daddy was, and not making excuses for nobody, but let's say his daddy was a player, or his granddaddy was a player, his great granddaddy was a player. This is all he know. So he know to have a main woman to love this woman. That's how he equate loves. And I'm not saying that that is right by no form of fashion, but this is how he equates love. So in his mind, he's not playing games because we're gonna go back to the rapper. He's saying, okay, I pay bills, I do this, I do ABC. So to him, that's his form of love. So on the flip side with the girls, like you said, they are more honest, but they also will choose that over. Let's say they got a square dude, and then they got the dude I just told you about. And then they know the square dude to be 100% faithful because he a square, but she don't want that because maybe her past stuff too, whatever the case. So she gonna be like, "Hey, I don't want this." So you gonna go with the other dude, and then you gonna want from the other dude what the square was given, but it don't work like that. Them two different peoples with two different personalities. If you wanted the good dude, you should have stayed with the good dude,
Stay with
but
the
you
good
didn't
dude for
chase
sure.
them. Right, you chased it the player, so now you about to get treated just like that. But in his mind is why they always say men and women are different, and I'm telling you this because I live this. So again, until somebody teaches you different, this is all we know. All some men know. I'm not gonna say all men. So until they are taught different, that's what they know, and they don't think they doing anything wrong.
I'm gonna say this: we are all old enough to know what the hell we doing. Wrong or right?
Now,
Does
young
it? Does
as a
does it?
youngster, you're not about to tell me you knew everything that went along that was okay, because some stuff,
Right.
if you was raised that this was right, then that's
Mhm.
what you think that that's right until, like I said, now you right.
But I
Now
don't
as you
even
get
think you
older, you
have to
have
be
to learn.
raised that way. I
It's
think you
common
just
sense.
because, yeah, it is really
Once
just
you get
common
older, you get
sense. Because
wiser.
my mom didn't teach me how to be a wife. She didn't, my dad does everything for my mom. They've been
Mhm.
married for 50 years, and my dad always worked. My mom stayed home. They're very old school and traditional. So it's like when I grew up, I knew that that's what I wanted, but was I taught? No, because
Mhm.
my parents they went through their tribulations and trials and all of that, forgive, all of that, and so, but they didn't teach me how to be, like in a relationship or to be committed or anything like that. I think that comes within.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw there's another podcast. I think it was like an interview, and I can't remember what his name is, but he always has like really good stuff when it comes to relationships. But he was interviewing a female. It's the same one about the woman that's an alpha female, and he was like, "Oh, you'll never be married." It's the same guy.
Mhm.
And so he was like, talking to a girl, and the woman said, "I can't be attracted to a ninja who ain't doing shit for me." Um, What do you guys think about that? When you're dating, I guess my question would be, when you're dating, is there like a limit of how much you're willing to do for a female? Or do you have to be like at a certain stage before you start like doing things for her?
I think it goes to maturity again, like he just said, a certain age group. So as a youngster, you're gonna think, "Oh, I don't want to trick off the bag. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that." As an adult who's dating, then you're gonna do whatever you feel. Like you know your budget,
Right.
you know your limit. So going out
Right.
ain't gonna have a cap on it. If I want to go on a date and I want this date to be special, then I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna put everything into it.
So
Yeah.
what if I'm gonna use me as an example? What if, because I feel that because sometimes I will test people and I will say certain shit, to kind of see what their response is, right? To kind of see where their mental is, right? Like, are you ready? You say you want to be with me, but are you ready? You know what I mean? Because I come with a lot. And to me, I think, like, I hate saying real men, right? Because men are men. But to me, for me to be like, I'm gonna be committed, is if you do the relationship things, right? If my fucking car is having problems and I'm like, oh, my car is having problems, and you're just hitting me with the oh, okay type shit, then you're probably not somebody who I'm gonna make time for. You know what I mean? And so opposed to somebody who's like, you know what? Let me go see what's wrong with your car. You obviously don't know nothing about cars. Even if I don't know nothing about cars, let's go figure it out, right? Um, I'm definitely going to pay more attention to a guy who's going to take the effort to try to take away the stress from me. Um,
But that's a
I think
phase
that
now. Because if I just met you yesterday and you talking about, oh, my car, oh, okay, your car.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
yeah,
I don't know you.
obviously, but that's what I'm saying. This is
Right.
not people I just met yesterday.
Right,
Definitely not people I just met yesterday. These are people that
right.
I've been knowing
Got you,
that,
got you. Yeah, that's
oh,
different.
I'm
All right.
trying to be with you. I want to marry you type shit, but it's just like, you're not giving me husband energy. I'm sorry. And just being frank like that, like, if you really trying to be with me personally, dude, put in some more effort. You got to show me, because if you sit here just kind of okay and shit, that's not showing me nothing.
Right. I'm gonna just
So
say
yeah.
this. We all grown, so by heart, a person know what they want already.
Hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say. They know what they want. So if they want a
Yeah.
relationship, they already know. They already know what they want. Like you said
Hmm.
in the previous podcast, you already know what the hell you want already. You
Right,
mature
right.
already,
Like after
so
that initial, like, all right, I'm gonna try to make this person my man or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
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 especially for
I
men,
agree.
we know out the gate this gonna be a jump off, this gonna be a sex thing, this
Hmm.
gonna be a relationship, this gonna like we know automatically, and nothing
Yeah,
you could do or say that's gonna put you in another category
yeah.
because
That's how we are too. Women are
yeah.
like that.
So
look,
it's like, nah, this is what it is. That's what's happening.
It's a
yep.
dog eat world, dog
Nah,
eat dog
yeah,
world,
seriously.
boy.
And the sad part, what that woman said, what you brought up, is usually the opposite. They will usually leave a good man to cheat with somebody that ain't got no job, ain't got no car, drop them off at work. But he in there laying pipe like the Pied Piper. That's his only good talent.
Man, I
Yep.
used to always say that. Oh, and excuse my French, but I used to always say it be the broke motherfuckers that be having like
Because
just got time,
I
boy,
got all
because
the time. Yeah.
they ain't got
Yeah,
nothing
cause
else to
he ain't got
focus
nothing else
All
to
on.
the
do. He ain't got
time.
nothing else to
Shit.
do to perfect his craft. So
Shit.
My
everybody else
goodness.
at work
Say it
everybody else
again.
going to work.
Yep.
He listening to R. Kelly watching movies, perfecting his craft, man.
Trying to squeeze in them jeans for sure.
Yeah, like nah,
Yep.
man.
But on the cool, the women's, the females who really like bring up those topics are the scary ones, like you said, because them are the ones who be expecting a lot from you and shit like that. Oh, you gonna pay my bills? When you're not in a relationship.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
think it's a process, right? I definitely think like, cause me personally, I'm not finna just be telling like when I meet you, I'm not finna just be telling you like my stress, my problems and stuff like that. I definitely act like I got it under control, but that's just the alpha female in me. Like, and I'm used to
hmm
not showing weakness, right? So if I got, if my whole damn world is falling apart, you'll never know. I'm
yeah,
up, hey, how's your day? Blah, blah, blah. You'll never know. But like if I do open up and I'm telling you like what my stress is, like it takes a lot for me to cry, but if you see that, that's because I obviously feel safe with you to open up, and I'm making myself vulnerable for you to be that man. I'm giving you a chance to be that man, and it's just like when you hit me with that, oh, okay, you know what I mean? That's just like, oh, okay, well, that lets me know everything I need to know, because I won't just open up and say this and this and that, but
yep.
it's definitely a process. What else, y'all? I think we already hit all of our.
Bro had a topic, right?
Uh,
We
mine
said it.
was yeah, mine was
Oh,
about YB.
YBZ.
Yeah. So we said yeah, it went along with the question she had about I
The
want a
topics
man.
was topicy.
I'm like, man, look, she just cheated. There, he doing all that right there. But yeah, that was my topic.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
Unfortunate
crime of
sad thing.
passion.
situations.
That's a reason to get everybody head not clean off. You got a man in my house.
Yep, against the wash and dryer.
So
Yeah, that's crazy. I do want to. Nah, maybe this is not the time to do it.
Why? Because you're outside.
Nope. No, but only because I kind of wanted to start it off, but I feel like a lot of people that view us always ask like, how did you, and I did do an interview, shout out to Crypto Jeezy. I did do an interview, so he will drop it, and I do talk more about how the podcast came about, how we
Mhm.
started doing the podcast and things like that. So tune in for that. Shout out again to Crypto Jeezy, and when he drops it, you guys will find out more about the podcast. But so you guys will find out more about the podcast. But just for our viewers, I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, why her? Da 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 da. It wasn't like a why her thing, right? I think if you go to our very first podcast, on every podcast except for probably two, we're all three on each podcast, and that's for a reason, because we all came up with this podcast together. It's not one person doing this, or, oh, you were doing this or you were doing that and things like that. It's not like I didn't audition to be on this podcast. Let's start there. Let's start there. I didn't audition to be on this podcast. We're genuinely outside of the podcast. We're friends, right? I've been knowing George, our Trinity team, for years, like I said, and we'll always say friends with his wife, our kids are friends and things like that. I know Mike Larry through Trinity team. And so we were just socializing, working out together. We used to work together, things like that. And it was just a random ass idea of, you know what, our vibe is cool. We are always talking about different scenarios, different topics, and things like that. So it was just kind of one of those, why not, let's do a podcast and share our input on different topics and things like that. And that's how we came up with Three Peas in a Podcast.
Right,
Yep.
because we would have these same conversations in the gym.
In the gym while we were working out. And then I think Mike was like, what would we call it? And so we started to think of names and stuff like that. And then one day, Trinity Team, or who was it? Trinity Team was
I
like,
can't remember.
we're filming today. And it's like, oh, okay. I guess we're really going to do this. And that's kind of how the podcast came about, just for the women and men out there who are wondering why me. It wasn't a interview or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys ever want to join us, our viewers, we do love our viewers. We love for you guys to comment and things like that. I do want to eventually, at some point, and I say this on the Crypto Jeezy's podcast too. The interview is to like grow right within our podcast.
Hmm.
Maybe do some lives, maybe do some blogging, and maybe have our viewers join us while we're doing a podcast, and just kind of get different inputs from our viewers and things like that. I think it would kind of switch gears. I would love to have another female on here, to give their opinion and things like that, because not everything I say or think is for everybody, and I get that 100%. Um, but that's all I have. Thank you guys for viewing, and thanks for commenting and just being proactive on the podcast. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.